So I want to talk about Yaakov Avinu, Jacob.
Mm.
The story of the Torah is he's about to confront his brother Esav. And Esav's coming with a whole army of people, and it's pretty intense. Yaakov prepares himself to war. He tries to appease Esav, and he makes a prayer. And the Torah actually tells us what that prayer was. Doesn't just say that Jacob prayed, but it says, here's what he said. And in Hebrew he says, God, Katonti mikol chasadim umikol ha'emes, which means I have become diminished. Katonti means like I became small.
Is that katan?
Katan, exactly. I became small from all the kindness and truth that you bestowed upon me. In other words, like, you've done so much for me already. And then he goes on to say, please do me like this one last favor. Like save me from my brother. This is really... And the Alter Rebbe has an interpretation about what that means. A person becomes small when God is kind to them. But I'm just thinking, before we get to the Alter Rebbe's interpretation, there's a lot of people that I know that I think everyone suffers from this in some level or another. When they have good things happening for them, there's a fear that it's going to be bad next. Like there's some type of contract we have with bad results, right? So if it didn't get bad now,
it's coming.
It's coming, and if it's good first, that means the bad's gonna have to be like way worse, right? So there's like like a bigger fear, and
like you're preparing for the bad. Yeah,
it's almost, and that's why a lot of times people, they don't want things to work out. They self-sabotage,
right,
because they then the anxiety about you climb up to the top of the mountain. It's like, oh my God, now I'm afraid of heights.
Right.
Be better if I don't try.
It's like they say, it's better to have loved and lost than to not have loved at all. Kind of, you know what I mean? It's people are afraid if they get it, the feeling of losing it is worse than not having it.
Right. I remember I was one time playing baseball in camp, and I was not great at sports. Basketball, I couldn't even make the team.
Same.
And baseball, so I was always like, send me the furthest out there. I'm gonna go really out. No chance to.
Where can nobody hit it?
And then my worst nightmare happened. Somebody hits the ball and it's coming in my direction and it's flying and I should be able to catch it.
Right.
So in my mind, I'll never forget. I'm like, okay, here's what I need to do. I need to run, make it look as if I'm trying to catch it.
Yeah.
But don't catch it. Because A, I'm not going to catch it. And B, then I have to throw it. Who do I throw it to? And I got to throw it further away. Like, I definitely don't want to catch it. I definitely want to make it as if that I was going to try to catch it.
And you processed all this at the time that the ball was hit.
Yeah. And guess what happened? I caught the ball.
Oh my God.
And I didn't know. And I'm like, boom. And I'm like already like dropping my glove because like saying like, oh, where is it? And as I'm dropping my glove, putting myself in, the ball falls out of the thing.
No.
Yeah.
That's a great story. That's a great story.
I'm getting sad right now talking
about it. I love it.
Is
it bad that I'm like cracking up?
Right? And this is like, something good happens. Somebody was telling me there's like two types of people who start believing in God. One is when they don't have anything, they're like, God help me. And then there are people who, when they start getting things, all of a sudden they're like, they want to believe in God because they're afraid they're going to lose it.
Lose it, right.
Right? Now it's like the anxiety. So it's like, I'd rather, hey, maybe if I don't have it, I don't have the anxiety.
Right. It's better to just, That's wow.
So what is it? This is what I'm thinking. Yaakov says, Kateti mikol chasadim. That can't be what Yaakov meant.
Right.
It's so many times what people mean. Like, there's like this imposter syndrome. Like, I don't deserve... If God really knew who I was, He would never.
Right.
It's like you hear these stories sometimes in the news where people accidentally the bank drops a deposit in their account for like $1 million, and you don't want to touch that because when they find out they're gonna pull it back. That's almost like, oh wow, God did me a favor here. I don't know if I should even cash this one in because and. First of all, just to say that, forget about whatever toxic fumes are going through our head to be able to have this horrible contract with misery.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about God, and we're almost like telling God, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
God forbid. Like
Straight heresy. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
I don't do. You got the wrong guy.
Right.
And God's like,
no, we're good.
what was your social again?
Last four of your social.
Yeah, well, I don't know. And then you walk back from the line, and you're looking at everybody, and then you're like, I don't know. This is weird, you know?
Right. You don't know what to do with it. The ball's in the mitt.
Think of how much ambition is drained and how much good fortune we are, losing out on by walking around with this mindset that if it's not bad today, it'll for sure be bad.
Right. Wow.
So the Alter Rebbe says, why did Yaakov feel small from all of God's kindness? He says, because when Hashem is kind to us, it's his way of being close to us.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine the king invites you. You get a invitation to go to the palace. And you go into the palace, and they bring you into this room, and the king brings you in closer. And as you're getting in, the rooms are more majestical and beautiful and unbelievable. And then you get to this really amazing room, and it's dazzling. And there's a beautiful table in the center. And the king is standing behind it. Mm. And there's a chest on top of the table, and he's smiling. And he says, open the chest. And you go over, and you look at him, and he's like, yeah. You open the chest, and there's this unbelievable treasure and gift, and he's like, "It's all yours." And in that moment, you get this unbelievable thing, and more than that, you're getting this in the context of the king just so invested in giving this to you.
Right.
You walk away from that feeling overwhelmed by the limitlessness and the majesty of the king, in this case of Hashem. And that's a humbling experience.
For sure it is.
That's very humbling.
Yeah.
So Yaakov says, Kateinti mikol chasadim, Hashem, you were so kind to me. And all that called out within me is, I'm seeing you. And I'm seeing your greatness. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing where I am around it. Not that I'm a bad person, but just when God's infinite and we're finite,
right.
we start, that shifts the whole dynamic.
I feel awkward just thinking about it.
Yeah. So this is Kateinti mikol chasadim, and this is kind of where, we want to try to notice it. I guess the first thing is to notice when we're in this contract with misery. Mm-hmm. Just be aware, like, wow, I'm really worshiping this idea.
Right.
And almost in a supernatural, I've replaced my trust in Hashem with a certainty of disaster.
Fact. Wow.
And before we get to arguing with it,
right?
You have people, well, Hashem wants great things for you. If a person really has a contract with misery, that's just not getting through.
No.
And forget about why we
just
got
a
there.
Wall right there.
Yeah. It goes over our head.
Yeah.
Just notice it, and then say, like, okay, when we see that for what it is, what would it take to look at Hashem and say, oh, what if Hashem knows exactly what He's doing?
Mm-hmm. What if
He's giving you something, and it's not transactional. So many times we're used to people giving us things, and now they want things.
Right.
It's not. He's like the king. Like, this is for me. It's for you.
What if we could just say thank you?
That's great. And the next day we say thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's so.
What would happen though? Like, what is, like, for me? Yeah, it's simple, but it's not easy, right? I mean, of course, that's thank you. But what does that take to truly feel just thank you?
No strings attached.
No strings attached. That takes work. I mean, I think that takes what you just said. That takes acknowledging this contract we have with misery. This, like, natural, primal, almost, contract we have with misery. And to just be able to be, I think, humble enough to say thank you. Because I think that takes a level of humility.
Humility, honesty. I love how no strings attached to this. A lot of times people say thank you because of the anxiety. Like, oh, if I don't thank this person,
yeah,
it's gonna be that's gonna pull it away,
exactly.
right?
If he doesn't feel that I'm grateful,
right?
You know, and that's not at all. That's so
exhausting.
toxic right there. You know what I mean? I have to make you feel that your gift to me is really. I do this all the time.
Yeah.
That your gift to me really means, and I'll go overboard because not because I'm worried about how you feel. I'm worried about how you're gonna feel based on how I feel, and it's not.
I'm gonna feel something.
Yeah.
When I think you're feeling something.
Yes.
So
correct.
I'm really calming my own anxiety
Selfish, completely.
versus being
Yes.
grateful.
Yes. Fact.
And here's what's amazing: the other person knows when you're thanking them
to make yourself
feel good.
Right.
So it actually doesn't work.
It doesn't work, but it works in your head.
Yeah.
That's the toxic
But when you
concept.
don't worry about what the other person feels,
Right.
they
It's-
generally receive it much better.
Say thank you.
You just say thank you.
Thank you.
Why? Because I appreciate what you did.
Right.
It's so liberating.
Yeah. Because your reaction to my truth is none of my business.
Yes.
If it's truly my truth, if thank you is my truth, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Then your reaction to that is not my business.
That's great. That's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then there is a adjacent topic. I'm bringing in this other topic because I wanted to use the word adjacent.
Okay.
I think it's a great word.
It's an SAT word. I like it.
It's fantastic. And that's the ayin hara concept.
Yeah. Let's get into
So
that.
ayin hara means evil eye.
Mm.
And as an industry, it's made a lot of money.
As an
People, this wards off the evil eye.
Right.
People
Oh,
make
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of claims about it. It's
little medallions.
yeah, it's a big deal. It's vague enough that it's very adaptable to
Right.
many markets.
Of course.
So there is a legitimate concept in Jewish experience or Jewish philosophy or thought, whatever, of ayin hara, which is that something good is happening, and you don't want to make it publicized because you don't want it to be seen by the evil eye, and then you get afraid that it's going to go away
Because the evil eye could have some power.
The evil eye
taking
can
it away.
have could damage it or could take it away.
So the evil eye is stronger than Hashem. Wow.
No,
Is that what-
no, nothing stronger than Hashem, and everything is. We don't believe that there's a force of negativity that's outside of Hashem's domain.
Right, but isn't that saying that we have that's saying that we have some control over what the outcome is? If we don't publicize it,
Well, we ultimately what we do has consequences. We do believe that.
Right, of course,
Right.
right.
And at the same time, Hashem's in charge of everything, and that's a issue which is a topic in and of itself.
of course.
So
Right.
how that works and how that squares away with if Hashem's in charge, why is there an evil eye, whatever it is.
Right,
it's
that's a
on top.
whole right.
But the evil eye concept, the things that I read about it, one I saw was, if you have something good going for you and people are going to find out about it, they may be jealous, and that jealousy could evoke some type of bad vibes,
Bringing negativity, which could take it away.
negativity. Yeah,
Right.
that person. So it's like you give one kid something, the other kid finds out. He starts complaining, how come not me?
Right.
And now you're like, I told you to keep it quiet.
Right.
Now I'm going to have to take it away from you because you threw off the
Now you get into the
bad
taking
parenting,
coveting and all
right?
that stuff.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if it works that way.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Another concept is that, in general, the Kabbalah speaks about how forces of negativity, they thrive off of positive things. That's where they get their energy from.
Right.
And if you're going to draw attention, hey, there's something really amazing happening. There's gratitude, there's goodness, there's whatever it is.
It wakes up.
It's going to start coming in there and start taking it away. Now, a lot of people, these are real spiritual concepts, which have spiritual remedies.
Okay.
But to a lot of people who believe in the evil eye, it's just the perfect religious narrative for their contract with misery.
Oh. It's
Like-
almost like an out.
It's an out. Like, you know what? Give me anything in religion that has a story about when good things happen, it's going to be bad. Oh, there's this concept called ayin hara. I believe in it.
you got me.
I believe in it. Yeah,
Where
that
I sign
sounds
up.
that sounds perfect.
Right,
but
right.
And to these same people, they don't even believe in anything.
Right.
But Ayin Hara, they believe in.
You got it with that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like people who believe in sin and they don't believe in forgiveness. And that means they don't even believe in sin.
Right.
At least not from a religious standpoint.
You can't
you're just feeling horrible about yourself.
Right.
So you found the concept of sin to work. But if you believe in Hashem, then you also believe when He says that I could forgive you.
Right, of course.
But why can you accept that? Because it was never really a religious experience.
Well, that's like the whole concept of burning in hell and all that stuff. Like for all of eternity, it doesn't. No,
right?
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yes, right. And what I would say is I was reading this talk from the Rabbi, and the Rabbi he quoted from, I think, the Tzemach Tzedek. If you don't believe in Ayin Hara, it loses its power. Now, to be clear, what that flip side of that is that if you do believe in it, it's a legitimate thing.
Of course, right.
So what does that mean, first of all? Like, it only exists or doesn't exist, whether I believe in it? I think it goes something like this. When you reject the entire notion, you're mentally blocking its impact. It's a legitimate concept. It exists, right? It can really create an issue, and there are customs that people do to ward off the evil eye or whatever it is. But if you, in your experience, establish yourself saying, like, that's not going to have an effect on me, it's almost like, you're standing in front of your front door with your arms crossed and saying, like, I'm stronger than all of you. That in and of itself
acknowledges it.
But it also pushes them away. Say, I don't believe in your power over me.
Got it. So you're just rejecting it.
And that actually, and the Rebbe says, when you don't believe in it, it won't have an effect on you.
So that kind of begs the question, what about people who've never heard of the evil eye before?
They don't believe in it.
Does the evil eye affect them? So that answers the question.
But here's where I was thinking, I know a lot of Ashkenazi Jews, they're walking around thinking, I think I believe in an evil eye, I'm not sure. They have a whole new set of anxiety.
Right,
now.
Of course.
What if I believe in it and I don't even know?
Yeah, right. And then you look back, how did it affect me here?
Yeah. I think at 2 o'clock today I believed in it. And that's when
that's what happened. That's where it goes back to the laziness kind of. You know what I mean? I have an out. I have something to blame this on or that on. And then that relieves us of the responsibility in a way. That's crap.
Right. The Rabbi at the end of the talk was going into this whole abundance idea, which was, he says, it says that Jacob, when he blessed Yosef, he blessed him that Ayin Hara should not have any impact on him. And the Rebbe says that us being in a generation, students of the previous Rabbi, whose name was Yosef, we carry that blessing. So he's like, don't worry about Ayin Hara.
Got it.
Don't ever worry about, don't ever take a mindset of diminishing your abundance and success because of how it will make other people feel, in a sense of like, I better not be to this or to that because whatever it is. Obviously, you don't want to flaunt it. You want to be sensitive to others, but never get to a mindset where you're actually diminishing yourself in a significant way, in a real way, because of Ayin Hara or anything else.
That's awesome.
He says, we're done. We're done. We need to go full steam ahead in abundance with health, with prosperity, with, family, whatever it is that, a person needs to go out there and make happen. Don't look back,
because it's so limiting if you do. I mean, it's like setting an anchor,
It's
dragging an anchor behind you if you're, because you're not willing to go all in. You're not willing to do that because God forbid if it gets taken away. Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
So from a religious standpoint, like if you're really concerned about an Ayin Hara as a religious concept, permission granted, you can get rid of it.
Nice.
Now, if you still have a contract with misery,
that's a different.
That's your own thing.
Yeah. But at least not Ayin Hara.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. I think we did it.